kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, page 128. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, in the words at the bottom of the page. Achamame roshaila not nistalka, bo venetze likrat Shabbat hamalka. Achamame roshaila not nistalka, bo venetze likrat Shabbat hamalka. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, good evening. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid in our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat worship. Wonderful to be here with all of you in the sanctuary, as well as those of you joining us through our online community. We've made it to Shabbat. We made it through this week. And this moment, this sort of entry moment into Shabbat, allows us an opportunity. It allows us an opportunity to begin to slow down, to put aside all that happened, the good, the bad, and the in-between during the past week, and to be present in this moment, to be present in time. I ask everybody just take a moment and breathe. We enter into Shabbat hoping for, praying for, working for peace for ourselves, for our creation, inner peace, outer peace. We open our hearts to the world with this love song on page 128, Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Meshochav Decha El Ritzonecha, Meshochav Decha Yala la 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 El Ritzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Ishtachave yalalai, yalalalai, lai, lai, elmu adarecha. Yedi nefesh avarachaman, Yedi nefesh avarachaman, Meshochav decha. El Ritzonecha Mishochav Decha Yalalalai lai lai El Ritzonecha.
As we enter into Shabbat, we bring more light into creation with the kindling of our Sabbath lights. And to do that, I'd like to invite Marcy Reisner, a member of our board of directors, to the Bima, and ask everyone to turn in their prayer books to page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Page 126. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created, and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. We enter into Shabbat with the service of Kabbalat Shabbat, beginning on page 130, as we sing together these words that invite us to open our hearts and our minds and our prayers to God. Lechu neranena.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzor yishenu, nikadma panav b'toda, v'zmirot nariya lo. Page 131. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash.
We turn now to page 142 as we prepare to welcome in the angels of Shabbat with the singing of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barakuni leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמא דירך חירותי וימליך מלכותי.
בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל.
בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai Amvorah. Baruch Adonai Amvorah Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yalalai lai lai, 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 yalalai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Please be seated as we read together at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu u'bkumenu na'asiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratcha ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
Adonai
Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשיטתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 157 at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, together, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh fele, Baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Ashkivenu L'shalom V'ha'amidenu Shomreinu L'chayim Yifros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkivenu L'Shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
Page 162, we turn to these words from Torah that remind us that as we keep Shabbat, it will keep us as well and renew our souls.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam, berit olam, beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. Sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim bet haaretz uvayom hashvi'i shavat shavat vayina bashavat shavat vayina bash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam, berit olam, beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, Oti le'olam, oti le'olam.
We rise on page 164 for the tefillah.
Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata o Melech Adon V'chol ha-shalom. Ki ata o Melech Adon V'chol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
A few years ago, there was an article in the Huffington Post that talked very explicitly and in very fine detail about the important topic of knowing the difference between a vacation and a trip. And the idea of the article was that if you're on vacation, your cares go away and you can sit by the pool all day reading a book and drinking fruity drinks with little umbrellas in them and just relax. You can go hiking through the mountains. You can go fishing for hours on end. You can play round after round of golf and not worry about it, or whatever your want is to do when you put your cares aside. A trip, on the other hand, means you're going to visit your in-laws, or you have to change diapers still, or watch after your children. Ultimately, the idea was that if you're going with your kids or visiting the in-laws, the only way for a trip to become a vacation is if you're on a cruise ship or in an all-inclusive resort where you can all separate for a while. And then you get the taste of a vacation, but it still becomes a trip when you come back together. And I was thinking about this week because summer is a time where a number of us take either trips or vacations, and we come to this week's Parsha, Shlach Lecha, which has the famous story of Moses sending the 12 spies into the land of Israel. And while they weren't on a trip or a vacation, there is a dichotomy. There are two very different ways that these travelers looked at their journey. The 10 spies, the ones who went into the land and saw it for what they thought it was, a land, yes, flowing with milk and honey, but where we were grasshoppers compared to the giants, viewed it in one very specific way. Whereas Joshua and Caleb, the Torah says, Alu el ha'aretz, they went up to the land. They allowed the land to raise them up as they became immersed in it and they experienced it. When on a traveling journey, there are really two ways to experience it. There are those who stay in their bus, and when they only venture out, they want American experiences in the foreign places they're in. They go to Starbucks instead of the cafe. They go to McDonald's and Pizza Hut on the streets of Jerusalem instead of getting a falafel. they're the ones who saw the giants. Whereas Joshua and Caleb immersed themselves in their surroundings, they opened themselves up to the beauty that was the land, to the promise that it was, and allowed themselves to be spiritually lifted. We are taught that wherever we are in the world, going to the land of Israel is an aliyah, is a going up. And it doesn't actually have to do with elevation. You could be on the heights of Everest, and going to Israel is still going up. Because going to Israel, we're taught, has the ability to raise us up. But our experiences through the world, wherever we are, on our journeys to near and far, our journeys even down the block, our journeys to our neighbors' homes, should have that ability too, if we, like Joshua and Caleb, open up to possibility, open up to the opportunity to be raised up in the new places and the new experiences we encounter. And so our Torah portion reminds us that on whatever journeys our lives take us on, to be open to that possibility, to be open to the wonder that the world has within it. We turn now to page 362 as we prepare to open ourselves up to words of Torah with Seder Kriyat Torah Shabbat. Please rise.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai v'ein k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol amim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitin Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom Av harachamim etiv avetzoncha et Zion Tibnei chomot Yerushalayim Tibnei chomot Yerushalayim Ki vecha levad batachnu Melech el ram v'nisadon olamim Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Ki mitzion tetzei Torah U'divar Adonai mirushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah Torah Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Gadol Shemo Gadlul Adonai Yiti Uniromima Shemo Yaktav Lecha Adonai Agedola Yagivura V'yatiferet V'yanetzach V'yaod Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha Ve'amit na'aseh Lechol rosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kosho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kosho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kosho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho.
As I mentioned, our Torah portion for this Shabbat is Shalach Lecha, and it includes that story of the 12 tribes or the 12 spies who are sent forth to go scout out the land of Israel. And upon coming back, the 10 say that we should go back to Egypt, that it's beautiful, it's flowing with milk and honey, and it's never going to work. There's the giants there, the Anakim, that will crush us if we try and move into the land. But Joshua and Caleb spoke differently. At the end of the day, though, the children of Israel as a whole decided to follow the advice and the ideas of the 10, not the 2. And God was incensed. God was in a rage and threatened to destroy all of the children of Israel until Moses interceded on their behalf, speaking words of compassion to God, asking for God's mercy. And we find that these verses in our Torah portion that will sound familiar either in the Hebrew or English because they find themselves then in our liturgy for the High Holy Days just in a few months. So you should find some of this very familiar as we read it in Hebrew and in English. And ultimately, God does turn away from God's destructive idea, and rather than destroying the entire children of Israel and starting over with Moses alone, God only sentences them, punishes them by wandering in the wilderness for another 38 years. So, pros and cons a little bit. But we turn to page 368. I invite you all to join me in blessing the Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai havarach, Baruch Adonai barach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah, ve'atah yigdal na koach Adonai, kasher dibarta lemor. Adonai erech apayim v'rav chesed, no se'avon v'fasha, v'nakeh lo yinakeh, poked avon avot al banim al shileshim ve'al rebeim, slach na la'avon, ha'am hazeh kegodel chastecha, v'cha'asher nasata la'am hazeh, Mimitraim v'ad hena, Vayomer Adonai, Salachti kidvarecha,
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher natan lanu Torah temet, V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Therefore I pray, let my Lord's forbearance be great, as you have declared, saying, Be eternal, slow to anger, and abounding in kindness, forgiving iniquity and transgression, yet not remitting all punishment, but visiting the iniquity of parents upon children, upon the third and fourth generations. Pardon, I pray, the iniquity of this people, according to your great kindness, as you have forgiven this people ever since Egypt. And the Eternal One said, I pardon as you have asked. With our hearts opened by words of Torah, we take a moment as we think of those members of our community who are ill. Some are in the hospital, some are at home recovering, and some have diseases and illnesses from which they may never recover. This week we think especially of Diane Silverstein, Gloria Foreman, Sandra Slovin, Sophia Kramer, Marcia Heisler, Elizabeth Jonas, Harriet Jacobs, Gail Kahn, Randy Kennedy, Jonathan Waller, Catalina Deltet, Gary Swartz, Sheila Schneiderman, Tom Bradford, Janelle Nichols, Robert Cohen, Brianna Jacobs, David Sankey, Stanley Bassell, Rena Fields, Richard Jacobs, Brooke Jacobs, Carolyn Eisenhart, Larry Futterman, Marty Barish, Gary Paul, Brian Berger, Chandler Jacobs, Yael Bat David Vilea, Alan Friedman, Sarah Kahn, Lee Silverstein, Jill Vantine, Eleanor Goodman, Libby Routman, Marjorie Whitmore, Jerry Phillips, Paul Kershaw, Reva Fisher, Leslie Knight, Bert Singerman, Mateo Velazquez, Max Jacobs, Kathy Waldner, Richard Zuspin, and Christopher Denton. If you are thinking of someone who is in need of a prayer of healing, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours. We ask for God's healing presence to be with all those we have named and all those we hold in our hearts. We also ask for God to watch over victims of violence around the world. May they be blessed with healing, hope, and love. And we ask for God to watch over those who care for the sick each day. May their hands and their hearts be blessed with wisdom, compassion, love, and support as we ask for God's healing presence to be with all of them and all of us as we turn to page 371 for this blessing.
Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bishebeira imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn now to page 370 as we prepare to lift the Torah and Hagbah. Please rise.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
374 as we remain standing and prepare to return the Torah to the ark. Yahalalu et Shem Adonai ki niskav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted.
Hodo al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amot hila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It's Chaim Lamachazikim va v'tomche ameushar derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivotei shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yamenu Chadesh Yamenu Kikedem.
Page 586, Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotze bereshit, shehu notesh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo begove meromim, u'eloheinu enod, v'anachnu koreim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malkei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar V'aya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo U'shemo echad.
I used to be part of you, belong to you, the extension of your being. But now you live within me, are the spark of my consciousness. I say Kaddish for you, with you. As you sing your melodies, speak your words, hearing your voice and mine, and my eyes, too green, have somehow started to reflect the blue of yours. I used to be part of you, protected by your presence, by your light, but now the time is mine and alone. I must be more than myself. We turn now, page 597. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this sacred moment of our Shabbat evening worship, we think longingly and lovingly of those taken from us both recently and at this season in years past. This Shabbat, we mark the yahrzeits, the anniversary of their passing, of Millie Barden, Albert Brenner, Lottie Cohen, Wallerek Givner, Beatrice Goldberg, Saul Kaplan, Marian Kingston, Shirley Post, Wayne Reisner, Ruth Roth, and Olga Waldner. If you are remembering someone on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours. Zichronam livracha. May all of their memories continue to be a blessing as we join their memories with the millions of our people who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and remembering all of them and praising God's name for their memories. We turn now to page 598. If you are able, please rise for the words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chaye echon uv'yom echon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam la'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Yinkol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all the bereaved here and everywhere with the blessing of peace. Together we all say, Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Our closing song can be found on page 625. Please join us in singing Adon Olam.
אדון עולם,
Adon Olam.
אשר מלך,
Sher Malach.
בטרם כל,
Terem kol
יצא נברא להתנסה, בחפץ הכל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. ביחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא אדון עולם. והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם. אדון עולם,
Adon Olam.
אשר מלך,
Asher Malach.
בטרם כל, יציר נברא להתנסה, בחפץ הכל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. והוא אחד ואין שני, והעם שלו להכבירה אדון עולם. בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה אדון עולם. אדון עולם,
Adon Olam.
אשר מלך,
Asher Malach.
בטרם כל, יציר נברא להתנסה, בחפץ הכל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. והוא אלי, וחי גואלי, וצורב לי ביצרה אדון עולם. והוא ניסי ומנוסי, מנחוסי ביום מקרא אדון עולם. אדון עולם,
Adon Olam.
אשר מלך,
Asher Malach.
בטרם כל, יציר נברא להתנסה, בחפץ הכל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. בידו הפקיד רוחי, בידי שם יאירה אדון עולם. ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא אדון עולם. אדון עולם,
Adon Olam.
אשר מלך,
Asher Malach.
בטרם
כל,
כל, יציר נברא להתנסה, בחפץ הכל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם.
Please be seated. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbos.
It was a pleasure being with all of you here tonight as we welcomed in Shabbat. A few announcements before Kiddush and Motzi, and then you're all invited to join us for an Oneg Shabbat so we can continue celebrating Shabbos together and have some time to be together as a community as we nosh together. First and foremost, as we enter into this weekend, from me and Mike and from CDT, happy Father's Day to all the fathers and the grandfathers in our community. You too, Mike.
You as well.
On Father's Day, our men's softball team will be playing at 5 o'clock at Zabin Park. Go and cheer them on as they hopefully bring home another win. On Monday, our Mahjong group will meet at 1 o'clock in Classroom 5. And on Tuesday, Knitting and Crochet group will meet at 1 o'clock as well. On Wednesday, join us at 11 o'clock as we continue studying the book of 1 Samuel. We just got into it last week, so now is a great time to join us if you haven't yet joined us for Tanakh study, because we're right at the beginning of a book, so you won't be lost in the middle of a story, but any week is a good time to join us. Immediately following that, you can join for the Sandwich Project at noon in the kitchen and help make sandwiches for those who are in need. On Thursday at both 10 o'clock in the morning and at 7 p.m., we have Mahjong in Classroom 5. And then next Friday night, our Kabbalat Shabbat service begins at 7:30. Our softball team plays again on the 25th at 1 p.m., also at Zabin Park. Looking ahead a couple weeks to July 1st, we are having an early celebration of Independence Day with some music from Mike and Amy, Havdalah, a bring your own picnic, but we'll provide some beverages and ice cream for dessert, an ice cream truck for dessert, and then we'll cap the night off with some fireworks. So join us on the 1st. Just let Stacy know you're coming so we can properly prepare for that really fun evening. As always, we thank those who have done more and above and beyond for the community. This week we want to express our thanks to Larry Berger. It's that time of year where he has to redo all the name tags, and so we thank him for all the work he puts in for our new members, for our board, whenever all the name tags for CDT need to be done. I see some of you wearing yours, so good job. And we thank Larry for that. We are going to conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi, but before we do that, it is Anniversary Shabbat because it's the third Friday in June. So if you have a June anniversary, I'm going to invite you to rise, or one of you can rise.
The one who can rise.
Yes. So we're going to ask you to introduce yourselves for those who may not know you. And how many years are we celebrating? Mazel tov.
Seven tough, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tough, seven tough, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tough, seven tough, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tough. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Yehelanu. Ulechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael.
Page 123 for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchalatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. L'chaim.
Chaim. We uncover the challah as we sing together.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
We give
thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'te'avon.
And we ask for God's blessing. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'yakol v'nei adam b'shalom. May God give strength to our people, and may God bless all of us, all of Israel and all creation with the blessing of peace. Together we all say, Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbos.